Hi, this is Miss M keeping it 100, and this is actually part two. I didn't put part one, part two, but I made another video for War in Our Streets, and this is part two. And let me just say this, guys. Since I made that last video, we have altogether 10 people shot, and most of them are teenagers. So listen, I'm just trying to figure out if 15-year-olds, well, even younger than that, are allowed to be out late at night. Listen, let me tell you something. When I was a kid, and I know things that was a long time ago, we weren't allowed to get off the porch. We weren't allowed to spend no nights over nobody's house. We wasn't even allowed to have company. And I used to think, oh, that's so mean. We can't do this. We can't do nothing. But listen, I understand why. Because my mother knew once you go to somebody's house and spend the night, she don't know what we, she didn't know what her kid was doing. You know, listen. Let me just say this. Let me say, I spent the night when I got a little older over classmates' house, and it was two girls, and I spent the night with them, and I won't go into any kind of details because see, I didn't know what was going on because I was young and I never experienced anything like that, and I'm like, I don't. Now that I think of it, well, another girl had spent the night over there, and we had discussed what happened when we each spent the night over there at a separate times. And I can't even tell you actually what happened. And it was two girls, two sisters, and I was clueless. I didn't understand. So it's not always boys that does things to girls. So I'm just saying, all because I spent the night over these two sisters' house, and I don't talk about it. You know, I think this might be the first time I said something about it. Right here, right now. But it's just that you know that you don't know what's going on when your child's away from you. Listen, let me just say this. I was watching what was I watching? I was watching a show. Oh, Dr. Phil. And he had hidden cameras. The mothers was talking about their little kids, and these were little kids, and how sweet and how nice and how kind, they were. Oh, they was the perfect little children until they put them cameras up, and they had one little boy that was so violent, and the mother was shocked to see it. And Dr. Phil said to her, "You don't even know who your child. You don't know who your child is." And she said, "No, I don't." She was shocked. I mean, that boy was beating up everybody, throwing chairs on top of kids. It was horrible. It was scary. It was frightening to see a kid that violent, and the mother didn't have a clue. So let me just get back to what I was saying about the wars in our street, because the last video I made, I was talking about how people were getting killed and things like that, and since I made that video, there's been more murders in our cities and on our streets, and these are 15-year-olds on down. This is sad because where's the mother? Why are these children out late at night? Do these kids have curfews? Why isn't our city putting a lockdown on our police putting a lockdown on our cities? They're not, I didn't, and I've been following it. I didn't see any curfews in our city. They're running rampant. They got guns on them. It was one person that he said that they hang around the store where he works. They come in and buy uh, bags of food. Kids. He said they have guns. He said, and he complained to the police department, and he said they had done nothing. But yet they're out here with these guns shooting and killing anybody, and they don't care. One day, my sister said she was going to her son's house. She said, and the boy took the gun out and was playing. And she told me, "Hey, this don't put that away. Don't pull that out when I'm walking past." He said, "Oh, my bad." That would have scared me to death. What if he would have got angry with her because she said something to him? You know you can't say anything to him. Now I'm telling you right now. Now I'm not blaming anybody or saying anybody, but if it was my kid wouldn't be running around in no street at no late at no night. He'd have his behind in the house. You understand me? Now you mothers got to take accountability for what your children do. You need to know where your children are at all times. Now I know these mothers got to work. I understand that. And stop always jumping on somebody when somebody come telling you or the teacher's calling you and telling you about your kid. You want to go up there with a gun and you showing them the violence within yourself. You need to grab these kids by their ear and take them in the house and tell them they can't come out. Search your house and make sure that you don't have any weapons in your home. It's time for us to start disciplining these kids the way they're supposed to be disciplined instead of letting them run rampant. There is a way that the community can come together. That starts in the home. We got to take control over our city or our town, our state, because this is happening all over the world. It's just not our city. It used to be the big cities. Now it's in rural cities, small cities, all over, in the schools. These kids are disrespectful. And mothers, we got to stand up and take charge. We have to take charge. This is right because all of us can fall victim to them. They're young, their minds are young, and they think with these guns, playing with these guns and shooting these guns and stuff, it's not safe. We're starting to be prisoners in our own home. Instead of getting mad, let's do something. Get mad enough that you're mad enough to do something. You could be saving your own life. You could be saving your own life. People are scared to go to the gasoline station to get gas. The violent tendency that these children have is sad. But don't look away. And don't say, I know my kid didn't do that. You go to the school, if the school tells you something, and try to work it out and talk it and find out. Sit that child down. Don't always say, oh, he didn't do that. Because you don't even know your kid. See, when they're home, they're someone else than they are in the street. In the street, they become dangerous. You wouldn't even think that a 9-year-old child would be a dangerous to anyone. Stop standing up for your child and taking up for your child when you know the child is wrong. Work together with the community. If everybody take accountable and start standing and disciplining their child or their children, things could get a lot better. Because it takes a village. Now we know we heard that many, many times, and it does. It's sad. I don't want to be a victim. Do you? It could happen to you. It could happen to me. It could happen to your child. Mothers, it's too many of us crying. There's too many kids dying. It's time for some resolution because the younger generation is dying off. Every time you turn around, there's somebody got shot. There was 10 people shot within a 2-week period. That's a lot. 4 of them died. And maybe I think more, I'm not sure. Right in the neighborhood, right in the city, right around the corner, right up the street. It's in our neighborhoods now. It's next door. It's across the street. Around the corner. It's in the. I mean, listen. The schools, the teachers are leaving the schools. They don't want to teach anymore. They're scared of the kids. The kids are threatening them. You got to take accountability because these are your children, and you got to discipline your child and stop being the mother that says, "Oh, I know my child didn't do. My child wouldn't do nothing like that." We had a woman that came to the school because the two girls was fighting. She got out of the car and threw bleach on the girl. A mother threw bleach on another child. The fight was over. She was just the girl was just coming out of school. This was maybe another day or so, and she threw bleach on the kid. You know, listen. If I seem like I'm angry, I really am. If I seem like I'm tired, I really am. So we look for the police, and the teachers and everything to control our children. We need to control our own kids too. Take away the stuff that they have. Some of these kids, man, the parents are scared of them. So you send them to school knowing that that the way they are, and they teach and they terrorize the teacher all day long. Listen, let me just say this: there are some good kids out here. I see them. There's some good parents. But listen, we gotta get mad. And so you probably not even worried about this conversation until you get that call. I didn't see in the last 2 weeks mothers crying. And listen, I'm still crying. And my grandson was murdered in 2015. He left this house right here, and I laid down on that couch. I talks about it. I brings it up. It helps me to get this out, to try to get across to another mother so that she wouldn't have to go through it. This is my grandson, and my daughter died. My only child died of cancer, but she died that night that he got shot. Her soul and her spirit. So let me just say, you don't want to feel that way. You don't want to go through that. Get a handle on this now. You never get over it. It's emotional roller coaster. One day you're up and one day you're down. So listen, guys, I had to get that out. I have seen enough of violence in our city. Listen, guys. I'm sick of it. We all got to get sick of this because it's bad. So you may think that you may say, I don't, that's too, until it happens to you, until you start crying because somebody took your child away from you. You got to get that discipline back in that home. You got to find out what's going on in your house. It starts at home. Work with your teachers and your, about your children and stuff. You know, these kids can be turned around if if they know that somebody. These kids are looking for attention in a bad way. I shudder when I hear a woman's child had been killed or a grandmother lose a child. So let's try to do better and get these kids right. Let's work together, not against it. Let's not go up to the school and start fighting. We're setting an example. This is if you're acting this way as a mother, then how do you expect for your child to act? Hey, listen, guys. Listen. If we can spare the sorrow, then let's do that. Because you could be the next one. I pray that you're not. Your kid could be the next one that you get that call for. Or he could be the next one that killed somebody. Let's do this together. Form some kind of support group in your town, in your city. We got to come up with a solution. So anyway, listen. Uh, if you want to support my channel, I'll put it down in the description and subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button and that notification button so that whenever I put out another video, you'll be notified. And if you want to talk about these things, if you're going through something like this, you don't know what to do, and you need somebody to talk to, my emails, it's going to be down there too. I'm willing to talk to you. Everybody needs a shoulder to lean on or cry on sometimes. Because I've been through this, I'm willing to talk to anybody if I can help. But listen, guys, listen. Keep an eye out on your kids. Make sure that you know where your children are at all times and what they're doing. You might be saving their life and your own. Okay, so listen, be safe and be blessed. And I'll see you the next time I put out a video. See you.